One more great thing to know about Illustrator, and so go back to your first page where we have these three circles, is to arrange things. It gives you some handy little tools here, and they're right here. And we can also, we'll talk about all this, but instead of having it up here, even though it's in contextual, I'm going to go ahead and open this in a separate window so we can see things. So I'm going to open the Align window here, just so we can see. This is still all stuff that you could do up here, but we'll do it. So I'm going to grab all these, and let's say I want to make sure they're perfectly aligned to each other. And we know there's the smart guides that can help us do that, but there's a quicker way. We can grab all those, and over here we see these align objects. So if you see this one right here, that aligns it right in the center. I could have also aligned them this way. Of course, then they'd just be off each other. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. But then we have the distribute objects thing. And this is really great. So if we want to distribute them to center so that this space and this space are equal, we'll go to this one right here. And so now notice that these are perfectly there. Now, there's this align to. By default, you'll be at align to selection. But let's say we wanted to align it centered to our entire artboard. We can go down here and say align to artboard. And now I'm going to go ahead and center these. We'll see right there. We don't want them all. We want the group to be centered. So what I'm going to do is grab these, hit Command G to group these together, right? So you see I have a group. And now since I have align to artboard, I'll go ahead and center that group to the artboard that way, just so we can see that we're centered. I will center the group to the artboard that way. There's another thing you can do, so I'll ungroup these and let me move these here. And that's aligned to the key object. So I'm going to grab all three, and then I'm going to put a second click on this one, and notice it gets this red thing. It'll automatically select align to key object for that. And so now I want to put everything on one line, but to that spot right there, and there you go. So that's really a helpful thing. There's also this distribute spacing, which I don't think I've ever actually used here. So let's use it on the fly, where I think, did they just add this? I don't know. So I got to have multiple things selected, and I did that. Okay, great. Let's align to selection. Let's align to a key object. So this key object obviously helps us distribute. I want 1.5 inches between each of these things. Go ahead and click it, and there it is. So that's another new little tool that I don't even think I ever saw that there before. I just updated my Illustrator. I'm not sure if I just missed it or if it's brand new. So you see there, this palette is very useful for doing things. Before I leave this, one more bonus thing is if you need to resize an object for transforming, there's also just any object you pick has this transform thing here. Usually it'll be up here, or you could go to, I guess it's in the, get out of here, right? So is it in here? Can we transform? Oh, right here. The transform's right in the properties. So if you want to set the size of something very specifically, we could say I want this to be, whoops, that's XY is the position. Let me hit escape there. W and H. Now if we want to make sure that they transform the same size, I'm going to click that so that I want these to both be perfectly 2 inches. So you see that it's locked together, so it'll be 2 inches. And so that made that object. We couldn't really see much of a change. So let me do 3 inches, right? And there we go. So you can type in exactly the size that you want. So these are a couple more handy ways of dealing with arranging and transforming objects.